Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old to history to anecdotes, really wherever our whims take us. Sometimes as you make your way through the winding courtyards of comics and history, you'll stumble across something that may make you ask a question. Sometimes it seems simple, bordering on silly, and you're worried that people will laugh for even asking the question. Well, you know what? Not on this channel. Questions like how/why are there two enchantresses? We're taking it way back to basics today. Everybody starts somewhere, and sometimes these questions come up. I myself have wondered about this for quite some time, because there are two. Marvel Comics and DC Comics both have a female character called the Enchantress, and they debuted within 2 years of each other. Now this sounded like Lawsuit City. Both have sued for less, or at least sent cease and desists or made little rumblings. So why are both of these two characters still floating around unaccosted, or seemingly so? It was keeping me up at night, this important conundrum. So if you've ever wondered, then stay tuned, because we're going to take a look at all of this and present a hypothetical theory at the time of this recording. Speaking of recording times, you asked for it, nay, demanded it. The at the time of this recording shirts are here. Celebrate only committing to the events as they stand at that moment with an at the time of this recording tee, sweatshirt, cup, you name it. If you are interested, the link will be down below in the description box. Thanks once more to the wonderful Debashies or at Deb Draws. This is for designing with me and helping make these ideas a reality. I've put his links down there too, so you can check him out too and give his shop some love as well. Now I'm Sasha. Like, share, comment, YouTube things. The Enchantress. Well, Enchantress is. The first Enchantress to arrive on the scene was Marvel's, this in the form of Amora, who debuted in Journey into Mystery 103 in 1964. She was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Amora, or the Enchantress, is placed firmly within the Thor mythos. She is an antagonist and a femme fatale type. Her first appearance is in 1960s Marvel, so you can guess what she has to do. She has to throw herself at Thor. This is by command, it's manipulation by Loki. They're both kind of villainous. But her contribution to this issue is largely trying to get Thor away from Jane. Odin doesn't want Thor with Jane anymore, and Loki decides that yes, this is the best way to do it. Although, based on how thirsty Jane was for Loki in his first appearance, I feel like Loki could have just gone down and done it himself. Loki, a lovely name, and he seems so dashing and romantic. Amora throws herself into this, and they set up many dynamics that would stick around. Ah, my beautiful one, what a team we would make, if only. Do not say it, Loki. We are too much alike. We could never trust each other. The Executioner also debuts this issue, and the two begin their acquaintance. The Enchantress would become a key part of Thor lore and figure in adventures beyond his own. For example, very quickly being exiled and sent to Earth, where she would team up with Baron Zemo on his Masters of Evil. Yes, Masters of Evil, that was it. But her reputation would build over time. But what about DC's Enchantress? This is June Moone. She debuted in Strange Adventures 187 in 1966. She was created by Bob Haney and Howard Purcell. Her first outing was a bit different, in that she was given a 9-page lead story in the issue. Strange Adventures at the time was DC Comics' sci-fi mag. Her teaser says meet the switcheroo witcheroo. Her story tries to set her up independent of the overall DC universe, but set her up as her own thing. So this issue is very much her origin, whereas Amora was placed in the world in a way that made it seem that she had always been a part of it, and then details were added on after. June is given a love interest, powers, ties to the occult, a bit of a mission statement right out the gate, but she didn't really take off. The end of this story promises she'll be back, but she then proceeds to appear only 2 more times in Strange Adventures. She didn't seem to leave much of an impression. And unlike Amora, whose presence would grow, would come to feel like a core part of the Marvel Universe, largely because that was how she had been introduced, so she grew along those lines, June would change. She wasn't utilized at all during the 70s except in reprints, and she was later drawn into the overall DC lore canonicity through the Supergirl comics, or rather Supergirl's stories and Superman family. She would feature in 2 of her stories in issues 204 and 205, published in 1980 and 1981 respectively. This was from the time that Supergirl was running in that giant let's put all of Superman's supports together in one book. Get all of Clark's people together, put them in one spot. June would gain some traction during her stint on the revitalized version of the Suicide Squad under John Ostrander in the late 80s, but she was on a very different path than Amora. Suicide Squad seems to be where she has settled at the time of this recording. Her look would change over time as well, whereas Amora would remain pretty consistent. They're both rocking that green though. Marvel would even introduce a second Enchantress, Sylvie Lushton, in 2009 during Dark Reign. So with all of this, I was left with the burning question, but how? Look what happened with the Captain Marvel, Shazam, and anybody else who tried to name their character Captain Marvel, even have Marvel in the name debacle. In this case, Marvel's version came first, so I was like, lawsuit, where? Was it because June hadn't caught on? Had people just missed that she existed? Did people feel that they were different enough in concept? Because, well, they are. Amora is an Asgardian with a love-hate relationship with Thor bent on causing chaos. June Moone is a woman who finds another side of herself awakened and is granted the powers of the Enchantress and can transform in between two forms. This initially to fight evil. Spooky. And later with her it would become more of a split personality type deal, with the Enchantress side having a more villainous bend. I have heard arguments from people, or rather assertions, that the two look quite visually distinct. And while they do look different, that green through line is pretty intense. However, from what I could glean, for I could alas not find a concrete statement, I guess neither Enchantress is on the fore of people's minds, despite what they're doing with a sorta kinda version on that Loki Disney Plus show. She's on the fore of my mind though. The reason appears to be something quite mundane, and that lies in the fact that you can't copyright / trademark generic or commonly used terms. You can't just pick things that are used in everyday phrasing or common parlance, or things that people would identify as colloquialisms. Like years ago when the Fine brothers decided that they were going to try and trademark the word react, and it went very poorly.
We're excited to announce React World, which is a first of its kind program that allows people and companies to license all our popular shows online, so that anyone, even you watching right now, can create your own versions in a fully legal way and be part of a new and exciting global community. We're sorry for confusing people by using terminology like our React format. We were never trying to say that every video where someone reacts to something else is something we would try to control. We do not own the genre.
Now, Enchantress may not be used as frequently, but it has a definition. It's not a name, but rather a concept with roots in old, largely European, though it wouldn't have been called that at the time, lore. And many would argue you could take it back far further. Enchantress means a beguiling woman who is a sorceress, good at witchcraft. So these characters are both named after this concept. This idea extends far beyond them, and they have not supplanted it. It may not roll off the tongue as easily as it once did, but it is still a common word. It would be like if a character was named Witch. And that seems to be it. It makes the most sense. I have a really hard time buying the "oh, they just didn't care" argument. Sure, Jan. Now, if you have a concrete reason, like a secret Wizard magazine interview or some kind of recording from a con from a camcorder that you had in your trench coat, well then please let me know, because you know I want to hear about it. That, however, was the answer I found to a question that had plagued me for some time on and off. You know, just a little, it would pop up every now and again like, huh, that's kind of odd. Hopefully this sated your curiosity, if you had any. And if you want to know more about either Enchantress, let me know about that too. I'll dive headfirst into that rabbit hole. Which is your favorite version of the Enchantress and why? Or both? You can also like both, or neither. You can do whatever you want. Did you know that there were two? Let me know all your thoughts down below. And while you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking this entire day spent discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.